You have had a job for at least 6 months. You cannot prove that you are a working and responsible parent as well. You are deemed unfit in the state of Georgia law.
DFACS is going to open up a 30-day case to figure out if you're stable enough to keep your children.
It's paid $1,900 for child support.
With no clothes on, while she acting like a wild child with no home training. And then y'all want to be like, oh, it's because she didn't have no father. She didn't have a man to guide her, so we're just going to overlook the parent whose possession that she's in.
A lot of y'all do not like to take accountability.
It's called the Parent Accountability Act. And if your mother goes to school and act like they want to beat on these damn teachers, the parent going to jail.
New child support laws that were passed in Georgia. And the great thing about it, it favors men, right? So we're going to get into that today in this video. And also, there's other things happening in the West right now where they're not playing. They're passing parent accountability laws. We're going to get into all of that. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get it.
That are in Georgia only. So Georgia just came out with a new child support law that goes in effect on October the 22nd, 2025. So basically they're looking for parents that are unfit and unstable, meaning parents that don't have their own home, that they're living with other people like their mom, their cousin, or their dad. They're saying no to that now. And if also that if you move around more than 2 or 3 times throughout the calendar year, you're also deemed as unfit and unstable. The parent that is paying the child support to you, guess what? He can tell child support division that you are moving around constantly, you're not stable. And guess what? Now defects is involved. And you know what? You don't want defects.
This is this changes the game. Do you know how many ladies are collecting child support and they can't afford a roof over their head? So they get money from the man and they're not paying for nothing. A lot of times the kid doesn't even have insurance. If the man took care of the kid would get insurance from his job. But she won't do that, right? Because she want to get that money. Things are changing.
Involved. So DFACS is going to open up a 30-day case to figure out if you're stable enough to keep your children. So if they find out that you're not stable and the parent that's paying child support is more stable than you, guess what? They are going to get the children now. And
do you know how many ladies are going to lose their kids? Do you know how much, what do you call it? Y'all already know it's ghetto behavior. But how many people, their minds are in the gutter in all sorts of ways? Meaning all they thinking about is how to get ahead, right? That's how people in the gutter's minds are. How can I get ahead? How can I get by to the next day? No more survival tactics with children. You're putting children at risk and the government's not playing.
now guess who's going to be paying child support? You, because the father or the mother now has the children. So pay attention to that new law that's coming out very soon. October be here in nowhere. So make sure you like, you follow, you repost, you tell another friend, and if you feel like this information is beneficial to you, please leave in the comments if you have.
Now, I'm late to this. This already happened. I didn't know. I didn't know this happened, but it happened in October, and I'm surprised I'm just finding out about it. I didn't see many videos. I did see one video recently, but it's going down, ladies. Accountability time.
Law that goes in effect October 22nd, 2025 at midnight. And with this new child support law, if you are receiving
He looked like he's paying child support too, and he's happy.
child support and you do not have your own place, meaning if you are not the head of household or the primary residence at that address, you are no longer required by Georgia to receive child support payments through the child support division. If you are a recipient of child support and you have moved more than 2 to 3 times within 1 calendar year.
He said extra things. She didn't say that.
The state of Georgia is deeming you unfit and unstable.
Mm.
If you are paying child support to a person who does not live, well, is not the primary residence at that address, if they are receiving child support payment and they are bouncing around from place to place, you are required now by the state of Georgia to report that to child support. Child support report that to defects. Defects automatically open up a 30-day case. And if the person that is receiving child support has no adequate place to stay, meaning not with your mama, not with your daddy, not with your auntie, uncle, grandma, meaning if you are not basically a responsible or an adult, and then if you are not fit, you are not deemed to receive child support. That's what defects step in. And if they feel or they deem you are unfit, your children can be taken out of their home. And if the person paying can show that they have adequate housing, stability, they are more likely to get the kids. This go in effect October 22nd, 2025. This is a real law. This is a real bill that has been passed. I'm posting everything pertaining to this whole new law all on my TikTok. So if you need or want to know more, tap in with me. Like I said, this is for Georgia and Georgia only. I don't know about any other state, but in Georgia, if you're receiving child support and you are not the primary residence, if you are receiving food stamps is going to bring your child support payment down. New laws is coming, and when it comes to these new child support cards,
Man, by any means, Trump is gonna get you off those food stamps. Seriously, because your payments are gonna go down. Because if you're receiving food stamps, you're getting money from the government. That's your baby daddy. Guys have been saying this for the longest. Your government baby daddy is no longer gonna save you. Congratulations.
they issuing out, you will not be able to go withdraw money from the ATM. You can't add it to Apple Pay. You can't add it to your wallet. You can't do nothing. You cannot make unauthorized purchases. Like, they tracking, they monitoring where that card is being used, what it's being used for. You cannot buy alcohol, tobacco products. You can't even buy gasoline for your car. That's how serious it is. Everything that car has to be spent on has to be directly to a child. It's not to help pay the light bill. It's not help to pay the gas bill. It ain't to help to pay the water bill. It ain't to help to put gas in your car. It's not even to help go buy grocery. Then that's why they saying if you receiving food stamps, all this, they broke this child support shit down to the T.
Wow.
If you receiving child support, that money that come on that new car, it's going to either buy clothes for that child, shoes for that child, or pay for health care medical expenses. You know why? Because they saying as a parent, a responsible parent, it's not child support fault or obligation or job to get that money and help you pay your bills. That's your responsibility as an adult, not just a parent, as an adult. Okay, so if they taking money from one parent and putting it in the household of another parent, mind you, if this is your household, if you didn't have kids, how would you pay your bills? How would you put gas in your car? How would you support your habits? They took all that into consideration. That's not what child support.
See, they know there's some baby mamas sitting at home not doing anything. They were sold, keep having kids, do whatever, live with whoever, and keep getting money. You know how many ladies are doing that? And then they're letting their kids run amok in school, right? They're receiving all that money from this kid, that kid, and they're still degenerates. That should be enough for you to get your life together. Seriously, if you're receiving $2,000 in child support payments and Section 8 and food, because that's who it's going to affect. The Sharkeishas, your time has come.
TikTok. TikTok indeed.
What it's for. So if you over here covering all your expenses in your house, your child need clothes. If the father paid $350 a month, and if you took $350 and put it together, that's $700 for one child. That's more than enough. That's how child support is looking at it. So you can't do what you did before. You can't make unauthorized purchases. They are tracking and monitoring where it is spent. If they find out you are trying to spend that card anywhere that it is not allowed, your child support case will be terminated.
Wow.
If you are receiving finances outside of the mandated, obligated child support order that was drew up, signed, sealed, and delivered in court, you are subject to having your child support case terminated. Meaning, if you receiving child support and you getting money from the person paying. If the person paying child support is buying anything for that child outside of child support, and they report that, your child support case will be terminated. You can be held in contempt. If you receive money and you spend money outside of a child support order from the person paying, your child support order case will be terminated. You will be held in contempt. These are Georgia laws. If you are going to try to get a higher amount of child support paid to you, you now have to show 6 months or better of financial records, which is work history. You have to show that you have had a job for at least 6 months. You know why? Because if you cannot prove that you are a working and responsible parent as well, you are deemed unfit in the state of Georgia law.
Wow.
It's about damn time. It's about damn time.
That person paying child support is paying.
Man.
You not paying. You not working, and you like, oh, I'm gonna go up here and try to get more money out of you. If you can't show you have had a job consistently for at least 6 months or better, it's not gonna work. And the only way that you can get child support payments up in the state of Georgia now.
And you know, it's crazy because for so long, you kept hearing deadbeat baby daddy, right? And nobody talks about the deadbeat baby mamas. It's more deadbeat baby mamas than deadbeat baby daddies. Crazy, but true.
The person paying has to make 3 times of what they were making when they got put on child support. Meaning, if you got put on child support and you was making $18, well, 18 times 3, that's what you would have to be making in order for a person to go seek more money. You see what I mean? So it ain't no how it used to be where women would go and get a little fast food or minimum wage job and going and be like, oh, I'm barely making it, I'm struggling. And then as soon as you start paying, they either quit or go find a better job. It don't work like that. And fellas, if you know the baby mama is making more than you, go file to have your case brought back in front of a judge.
Wow. Things are getting real. It's about time, though. It is, you know, for so long. And this is not happening in every state yet. I say yet, right? And I'm not a guy that votes, but this is why people wanted Trump in, right? It's not good. I don't agree with him. He's going to do so many treacherous things in the future. But things being equal, that's what guys wanted. So let me take a look at this. If you are the one paying child support, to that in most cases, clearer formulas, that's what's going to happen. And those clearer formulas equals less random judge decisions. Georgia's update tables means support is more math-based now. That helps you because judges have less room to guess. Payments are more predictable. Easier to challenge unfair calculations. This is a big one. Parenting time matters now. If you have shared custodies, lots of overnights, active involvement, your support can drop significantly. He didn't discuss that. I repeat, parenting time matters more now. If you have shared custody, lots of overnights, active involvement, your support can drop significantly. Georgia now wastes time with the child more than before. Do you know how many guys are putting that work in? Do you know how many guys have been yelling for this, screaming for this? I see it all the time in my comments. Hey, what's going on with child support? States are starting to do something. And it's starting with Georgia. Look at this. So this says, if your job changes or income fails, you can request recalculation. Courts rely on formula adjustments, less arbitrary refusal from judges. This protects you during layoffs or income swings. You know what men are saying right now? Worship Christ, praise the Lord. Men been praying for this. They've been praying for this. They lose their job, and then they got to keep paying it. Now, they can go in and get that modified ASAP. Expenses must be documented now. The other parent can't just say the child needs more money. They now have to show child care costs, insurance, real expenses, stops inflated support claims. It's over. No more scamming the system. No more scamming men.
Finally.
I just want to give y'all a little insight on what they are now doing with child support in order for you to have your payments lowered. So it's this thing called child support modification. So as we know, it's the government's job to make sure that they are modifying child support payments. So, fellas, in order for your child support to be lowered, you got to pay $100 for them to modify it. Yes, you have to pay $100. I repeat, you have to pay $100. So let's say, for instance,
in some cases, that's not that bad. In some cases, because some ladies say if they want to get it modified, it goes from 500 to like 200. If they're paying them 100, that's still less than paying a girl. To some guys, it makes sense.
Say if you are paying $700 a month of child support, let's say if you're not making as much money on your job, or let's say you find another job and they're not paying you as much, so the government court or whatever can look at it and be like, okay, well, this man's not making as money how he used to. Y'all gonna have to bring the payments down. But the thing is, it's crazy because it's like, not only I'm talking about the daddies that are not deadbeats, that do what they supposed to do for their child. And it's like, not only are y'all paying a lot of money as it is with child support, you got to pay them $100 just for them to modify it and approve it so they can lower your payments, especially if you're not making as much money. That's crazy.
It is.
But let me know what y'all think.
Just walked out the courthouse and he has paid $1,900 for child support. That's right, $1,900 for child support. This guy says he's been paying child support for the past 2 years.
It's an evil world we live in.
And can't see his little.
He's hurting us.
The past 2 years, this man.
You can see it in his face. That man is crushed. He's all paid up too. He still can't see his daughter. Because why? He doesn't want the mother, I'm sure.
Ain't seen his little girl. So as he goes on to tell the story, he just talks about, we don't know what these men go through that are paying child support, and these women are not allowing them to see the kids. So I went to the page, and after he did this video, it went viral. So now he's trying to get help to get a better lawyer. But through all this, y'all, I can't understand, for one thing, why y'all women being so low down than these men. If these men are paying child support and taking care of their kids, why y'all women, some of these women ain't letting these men see their kids? It's beyond me. I don't understand it. So the man goes on to say now he can be monetized because that video went viral. Of course, he's going to get paid. He's going to get a better lawyer. But he just said he talked about the baby mama so bad, saying she wasn't about nothing. She ain't going to never have nothing. So it seems to me probably like she's using that baby against him. Because I think the little girl is 6 years old, and he said that he wanted to be there. It was his ex-wife. He wanted to be there for that little girl because he hadn't been there for the rest of his kids. And this is the reason why men don't tell us nothing, because you use it against him. Now, she using the fact that he hadn't been with his other kids growing up. So his daughter, he wanted to be that father for her, and that lady using that against him. Now, that's messed up, because a man that is going to the courthouse spending $1,900 in child support, he says he don't care if he don't work. He still pay his child support faithfully, trying to do the right thing. And you still being low down and not letting that child see his dad. See her dad. That child's going to be mad at you in the end, because she's going to find out. She's going to see these videos one day and be like, my daddy really was trying to see me. Y'all mama, stop doing this. Stop not letting them kids see their dads, especially when that man doing what he's supposed to do and paying child support. Hell, back when I was 16 on up, my son, his dad wasn't even doing nothing for him, but I still let him see his daddy, because that was his dad. You might call me.
It matters. No.
His dad at the end of the day, because I knew when my son got grown, he was going to make his own decisions and choices about his dad, but I didn't want to make him for him. I let him make the choice, but I did the stand-up thing as a mother, because at the end of the day, ladies, your children were not created by themselves. They still have a father.
She did the right thing.
A law, and I guarantee you this mother hit worldwide.
Woo!
It's called the Parent Accountability Act, and if your mother child goes to school and act like they want to beat on these damn teachers, the parent going to jail. They can either get a fine, or they're gonna have to do some community service. So before school even gets started, and even now that school gets started, y'all better damn talk to your kids, because the schools ain't playing with these damn kids no more. And I don't fuck with them, because y'all child be going to school disrespecting these teachers that's got to sit up here and do their job and want to hit on them because they don't want to do what the teachers tell them to do, because y'all tell them at home you ain't got to listen to nobody but your parents. Okay, they got something for y'all, mother. Telling you, your goddamn kids finna get y'all asses locked up. I'm telling you, this shit right here, I guarantee you, it's going to hit worldwide. Y'all better talk to y'all kids right now, because if not, I'm telling you, your ass going to jail, community service, or you going to have to pay a big ass fine.
You know, the crazy thing about this, what I don't think a lot of these parents are going to understand, because I'm sure a lot of them going to be like, oh, wow. No. I understand why. You know what? It even tells you in places like the Bible, right? It tells you train up a child in the way they should go. So the fact that these kids are going to school and putting their hands on teachers, there's probably no father in the home. Because even if a kid is a knucklehead, if he has a father in the home or even disciplinary mother, it's not going to be that way. About time they start holding parents accountable.
I've been waiting on this. Boy, I've been waiting on this law right here. Georgia just passed a law called the Parent Accountability Act. Oh yeah. Y'all want to act like y'all them kids take their butt to school and act the same way they act in your household, the same way you don't be getting on to them. It don't matter now. Let them take their butt to school and touch them teachers or touch them officials that work at that school. The parent is accountable for it now. Yep, the parent got to pay for it now. Yeah, you either gonna pay a fine, go to jail, or you gonna do community service. Yes, it just in. Georgia just passed that law called the Parent Accountability Act. You know how a lot of y'all do not like to take accountability. You know you don't. And you'll trigger it down to your kids. Your kids be bucking at you, going outside. They be all over in these in the trains in Atlanta, and they just be everywhere. Let them take that energy to school now. Let them take that energy to school now. Don't say nothing to them. Yeah, don't say nothing to them and let them go to school and act a damn donkey in that school and act a fool in that school and watch they call you. Watch you gonna have a bench warrant out for you. Or they gonna tell you need to show up at court, or you better show up at that school, cause we got something to discuss, ma'am, sir. Your kid, you think your kid could do whatever they want now? We finna find out now. Cause Georgia just passed the law. It's called the Parent Accountability Act. Now you're gonna have to be parents. Yeah, now you're gonna have to be parents. All y'all gonna have to be parents now. Where you at? Where you at, mom? Where you at, dad? You're gonna have to be a parent now. I bet you y'all start co-parenting now. All y'all baby mama, baby daddies and stuff, and family households with them dysfunctional households. You're gonna have to be parents now. When it comes to that school, and they gotta go to school. Unless you register them to be homeschooled. They gotta go to school, or you're gonna have to pay for that too. So let's get it. Thank you, Georgia, for passing that law.
Playing with y'all. They not playing with y'all. They said that if y'all kid come up there disturbing peace, pretty much, if your kid come up there trying to fight one of motherfucking guns and do all that extra shit, oh, the parents is going to jail. You're going to jail, bitch. You're going to jail. So a lot of y'all need to have these conversations with y'all kids, the ones that be wanting fight the teachers and disrespect the teachers and throw shit at the teachers and be real disrespectful. Yeah, they finished start charging y'all. They said they finna start charging y'all mother with trespassing, battery, and obstruction to a child and an officer or something like that. Y'all going to jail. These kids, y'all better have them conversations with y'all mother kids, or y'all are going to be placed on a pedestal speaking to the judge and explaining it.
Accountability Act that's coming out of Georgia.
Yes, I have heard of this act.
And I think it should be duplicated across the states. Here's the thing. Students need to understand that they have to respect authority.
Yes.
That comes from the home. You should have respect for your parents and the people there, and then that should translate to the school. Teachers should not have to go to school and worry about whether they're going to be attacked by students. So parents, if the parents aren't doing their jobs, then they need to be held accountable for that. And it starts early. Start with the kids when they're small. Before they get to school, they need to understand what the level of behavior needs to be. And I think that before students start to school and parents send them to public school, I think that what needs to happen is that it needs to be explained to a parent in writing what the base level behavior has to be for their child to be in school. And then if they don't make that happen, then yes, they should suffer the consequences. See me in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. Accountability time. You know, it's wild because I want to talk about this. When I was younger, I went to PS 48, right around the corner from 40 Projects in Queens. And I'm talking about this was the 80s. If anybody knows about Southside in the 80s, drug territory, right? I'm talking about crack valves all over the schoolyard, right? So I went to school in PS 48. I had like a 90 average. I was going to school with kids that was getting 50s, not paying attention in class, right? And I got to tell you guys something. Because I was wild in that school. I was one of the wildest kids, but I was responsible. I'll tell you what happened. I got sent home every day from kindergarten to around 6th grade, all the way for a whole time through school, from fighting. Yes, I repeat, from fighting. I would come home and I'll be crying. My mother wondered why you keep getting in fights. I said, Ma, I'm not going to let nobody punk me. I wasn't having it. Now, I was in all the spelling bees, right? I did extra credit all the time, extra work. I was a shining star in that school, but I did not play. I wasn't hearing none of it. Any kids acting tough, they step up. Let's go. Seriously. My brothers and my cousins, my two cousins, I would go to school, deal with that. And then sometimes in the schoolyard, my brother was a knucklehead. I was getting in fights and brawls in the schoolyard because of my brother. It was times me, him, and my two cousins were getting schoolyard fights. We're fighting sometimes 5, 6 to 10 people because of my brother. It was wild in school. But one thing I learned, one thing that happened, my mother was accountable. She made sure I did my work. And so you know what happened? When I got sent home, I never got suspended. Why? Because she went up there and spoke up for me. If I'm coming home with 90s and 100s, and then these kids are coming home with 40s, 50s, there's a problem. Obviously, this kid is not going for it. I love my mother for that. She stood up for me, never hit me, never, ever beat me, because I always told her the truth.
I think she has 2 children. She apologized and took full responsibility of not being the type of mother that she should have been for him. What happened was this mother's son put a post up saying,
you see this kid right here? You see he got the pink on, he got the gray shirt, right? It's sad, but he was raised by a teenage mom. So he's taking pictures. He's copying off his mom. So he's growing up effeminate. And of course he hates his mom because she's not accountable. But let's continue. And this happens. There's a lot of guys that are effeminate in the hood, but they're not gay.
And that he hated his mom. And anybody, me, teenage mom, trying not to cry, has been through this. And if I had seen this video years ago, I would say she has helped a lot of women out, because I was always making excuses. I was like, I gotta work, you know this and you know that, because after time passed, he blamed me for everything. First thing I said, where your dad at? Well, see, at the end of the day, And anybody with a mama knows this. At the end of the day, we hold our moms to a high regard. I owe my mama everything. It's just something about a mother's love. And the quicker we learn as mothers, when we do stuff that's not so great in our kids' life, to just take full responsibility and say, I'm sorry. I wasn't that mother for you that I should have been, the better off we'll be. And it will get better because me and my son are the best of friends now. He often calls me and tells me how proud he is of me. Boy, and one thing I can tell him all the time that I'm proud of, I'm not a grandmother yet, but from my experience and seeing how hard I worked and how hard it was being a single mom, he said he would never ever do a woman like that. So I respect my son for that. But ooh, this right here did something to me. But I think she's going to help a lot of mothers because we don't know a lot of times that all our kids want us to do is just take accountability for what we have done and not be so quick to blame other people for our.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pause it right there because what she's showing, he went from while he was up top, the kid with the pink, to a regular little boy. When she started taking the time, putting time into him. But that boy needs a father. I don't know what she did. She probably talked with him more, but he still needs a dad. He still needs a dad. You can tell he's missing that.
A lot of people not gonna like me for what I'm about to say, but this has been said. Okay? She failed. Okay? That little girl, her, you, if it is you, she failed. Mama failed. Okay, y'all want to talk about why she's a 304, why she's acting out, why she running around with no clothes on, why she acting like a wild child with no home training, and then y'all want to be like, oh, it's because she didn't have no father in her life, she didn't have no male figure in her life, she didn't have a man to guide her, so we're just going to overlook the parent whose possession that she's in, that's supposed to be raising her, teaching her, giving her understanding, investing in her. Listen, why am I not surprised? The lack of accountability. Mama didn't take accountability, so of course the child, the daughter, is not going to take accountability. It's not the person's fault who was not there while that child turned out like that. It can play a role, but not the biggest role than the person that's actually there. You know, but there's a saying that I hear all the time. Most people give women the advice of, as long as you're good and you take care of yourself, then you're able to take care of those kids. But with a man, it's as long as the kids is good, I'm good. And it shows. So when you want to think about, oh, wow, this child is like this, it shows within the mother's action, because look at her closet, it's full of clothes. She's getting dressed up and putting on makeup and getting all ready for the world for herself. Focused on herself, neglecting that child, not investing in that child, giving that child things to get out her face. Okay, well, I don't want to talk to you, or don't worry about it, she'll be all right. She ain't investing in that kid. She doing the bare minimum. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to wash your tail fin.
Wow.
Make sure you got some clothes and stuff, a little bit of the bare minimum. And then boom, I'm a mama. But when that child is with their father, and because that father's natural instinct is to put the family before him versus the mama put herself before the family, the child has a better education. The child has stability, emotional capability. The child has a better understanding of life. And there's no way you're going to tell me a father is going to look at a little girl and say, you need to put on makeup. You need to put on weave. You need to dress like this to get a boy's attention. No, he's going to invest in her mind and her spirit. Help her see the beauty for who she is from the inside out. Mamas, on the other hand, are taking them to Sephora, getting them dressed up to be the best thought ever. So who really failed? The person that wasn't there to contribute to this problem, or the person that raised this problem and didn't get a hold of this problem and is most likely a part of this problem? So let me say this again. He did not fail her. He wasn't there to do it, right? And I know what y'all gonna say. Well, he was wrong for leaving her. Sometimes he did leave her. Sometimes mom selfishly made some decisions, took the child and dipped and deprived that child of a good father for her own reasons. Y'all so quick to blame him, thirsty to blame him. Look at the person who's in the house with you, raising you. Look at the person that's in the house raising her. Look at the person who is taking care of that daughter. If it's not him, then the person left standing is responsible. She failed. You.
that need to be said again and again with fierce conviction.
She failed her. She failed that daughter. It is what it is.
Wow, that was powerful. But you know, people need to hear that, right? Because I gotta show this. This is about discipline. This is why that accountability law they brought out. This is the Bible. And it shows discipline as a sign of love, not rejection. And you see it right there in Proverbs 13:24. Who spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. The idea here isn't cruelty. It's that loving parents don't ignore wrongdoing. They guide and correct. That's what it's all about. And that's what happened with me. I was raised, I was guided and corrected. That's why I wasn't beat for coming home getting in fights, because mama wasn't going to raise no punk, right? Also, look here. In Hebrews 16:7, right? It says, because the Lord disciplines the ones he loves, endure hardship is discipline. God is treating you as his children. God's discipline of believers is used as the model for parenting. Correcting comes from love. The Lord himself does the same thing with us as well. Oh, this is real. Now, let me get into the next one. Discipline should teach wisdom and character. That's definitely what it should teach. Discipline should teach wisdom and character. Look at this. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. When I was growing up, right? When I told you guys about when I was in PS48, right? Do you know what I had to do? I had to bring my brother and sister home, my brother and my two younger cousins home. I was in charge because right back then it was the a drug territory in Southside. It was shootouts happening at random moments. It was really crazy, right? So I was the oldest. So what we used to do in the hood, when shootouts would happen, all of the kids would be hiding under the car. I was the oldest. So I had to make sure all of them were hidden under the car before me. So what do you think that means? When things were happening in the hood, I hear y'all yelling, I look around, right? I throw the kids into the car right away. Why? Because almost every time, right after, and screaming for 2 minutes, and it happened too long, boo, 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 under cars. If any kid came home shot, guess whose fault it was? Mine. So look, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. The emphasis is that guidance plus correction equals wisdom. These kids don't know nothing nowadays. That's what old folks are talking about. Even you hear my stories, I'm telling, it's like, man, you was doing all that? Yeah, I was doing all that. And when I hit 16, I had a job. I tell my son all the time, I got myself out of high school. My parents were going through it when I was coming up. But because of what my mother instilled in me, right? Because of what my father also instilled in me, when times were hard, I got myself through. These kids nowadays don't know nothing about that. And this is what the older generations are talking about. We're not trying to play you. We mean it out of love.
Couldn't agree more.
The Iceman is coming!
Winter is here.